Good morning, Mr. Tito. My name is Dicky and today I will presentation in meeting 9 about meaning and cognition. So first is categories and concept. Categories are essential groupings in cognitive science that help us make sense of the world by including all instances of things under a specific label, whether they are real, imagined, or potential. These groupings are determined by concept, which are mental representation that capture the attributes and features of category members. Categories are organized in a hierarchy with broader categories encompassing more specific ones. When we encounter an object, our cognitive system uses this concept to identify and classify it. Although concepts are vital for categorization, they are often difficult to express in words, as they can be more complex and detailed than the language we use to describe them. For example, consider the category fruit. This category includes all kinds of fruit, such as apple, bananas, and orange. The concept of fruit encompasses attributes like being edible, sweet, and containing seeds. When we see an apple, our cognitive system matches in characteristics such as its shape, color, and taste to the concept of fruit to classify it correctly. Next is prototype theory. Prototypes are the best example of a category serving as central reference points and challenging the classical model that depends on strict boundaries. Research by Berlin, Kay, and Eleanor Roach demonstrated that categories like colors and fruit are defined by their most typical example rather than by clear-cut features. For instance, when you hear the word fruit, you are more likely to picture an apple or banana, not a durian or tomato. Categories have fuzzy edge, meaning membership is a matter of degree rather than an absolute decision. Using general terms for non-prototypical case can be confusing but is not incorrect. Durian are fruits, and in the right context, we can refer to them as fruits. Next, the hierarchical organization. The hierarchical organization refers to the way categories are structured in layers with broader, more general categories encompassing more specific ones. For example, in the category of fruit, there are subcategories such as citrus fruits, berries, and tropical fruits. Each of these subcategories can be further divided. For instance, citrus fruits includes orange, lemon, and limes. This hierarchical structure helps us understand relationship between categories and navigate from broad to specific instance. For example, within the hierarchical organization of fruits, first is the broad category is fruit. Second, a subcategory is citrus fruits. And last is within citrus fruits, we find orange, lemons, and limes. The hierarchical structure means that an orange is both fruit and citrus fruit, showing how categories can be nested within one another. Next is challenge to prototype theory. First is the role of prototypes as reference point for category membership and consequently the abandonment of necessary condition. Second, the notion of graded membership, and the last thing, the fuzziness of category boundaries. Challenge to prototype. When examining how prototype theory can lead to problematic definition, we should focus on graded membership and structure. In prototype theory, when a prototype for instant fruit is presented, we include typical examples like apples, banana, and orange. However, this doesn't exclude less typical fruits like durian or tomatoes, which are still fruits. Similarly, in the vehicle category, the wide range potential member can make it difficult to establish clear boundaries. The various way a word can have different meanings complicates the task of defining those meanings. The ambiguity of meaning is another issue prototype theory faces. This problem can stem from factors such as meaning variation, pragmatism, lack of knowledge, and vagueness. Next is semantics and prototype theory. Cognitive semantic. Imagine Sarah says, "The room is somewhat chilly." We interpret this statement by assigning meaning based on semantic categories or denotation. A word inclusion in a category can be defined with values like 1 true and 0 false. However, when there's ambiguity, example a value of 0.5, the meaning needs to be discussed and clarified first. Next is polarization, vagueness, quantification, and means of differentiation. Polar opposite. Words often have clear opposite like always and never. When you use one of these extremes, it makes the statement either positive or negative. Vagueness occurs when categorizing things is not straightforward. For example, some fruits are overripe. The words some and overripe are broad, making the statement vague and potentially misleading due to the lack of precise numbers and definition. Hedges. Next, hedges. Hedges are used to soften statement or categorize things more flexibility. For instance, a sedan is a type of a car. Here type of acts as a hedge to indicate that while a sedan belongs to the broader category of cars, it has specific characteristic that distinguish it from other types. Next is lexical differentiation. When describing colors, lexical differentiation help distinguish between various shades. For example, rather than just saying green, you may specify emerald or olive or lime green. This detailed language helps convey more precise color variation such as sky blue versus teal or sunset orange versus burnt sienna. Next is semantic knowledge. Semantic knowledge, personal versus cultural. Semantic knowledge can be categorized into personal and cultural versus semantic. Cultural categories refer to those are widely accepted within a community and define how things are perceived and understood. For instance, consider the concept of a cup. Culturally, we recognize cups as containers used for drinks, typically made of material like glass or ceramics and designed to hold liquids like tea or coffee. This involves knowledge about their appearance, usage, and even social norms related to drinking from them. This shared understanding is termed cultural knowledge as opposed to personal knowledge, which pertains to individual experience or preferences. Next is comparing semantic and cultural knowledge, an approach that spreads semantic knowledge from cultural knowledge, or the meaning of a term from the cultural context in which it is used, offers of clearer explanation for several aspects. First, stability of meaning versus cultural concept. The meaning of a term like cup remains relatively stable across different contexts, while cultural concept about how cups are used can vary significantly between cultures. Second one is abstractness of meaning versus cultural concept. The term cup is abstract and can be applied to various contexts without matching in its fundamental meaning. In contrast, cultural concepts around cups may involve specific tradition or practice that add layers of complexity. The third one is communicational economy of meaning. The term cup efficiently conveys that the idea of a drinking vessel with minimal explanation, whereas cultural concepts related to cups may require more elaborate description to fully understand their significance. And the last one is simplicity of meaning relation. The relation between words like cup, mug, and glass are relatively straightforward and semantic terms, while cultural association and practices related to this object can be more complex and nuanced. This distinction help clarify how certain terms retain their core meanings across